What's up, geeks and gamers? It's Jeremy coming to you with another video, and today I am joined by Jedi Bunny, better known as Kelly. Or is it Kelly better known as Jedi Bunny? Which way should I say that, Kelly?
I think I'm probably at this point better known as Jedi Bunny. I don't think as many people know me as Kelly at this point.
Okay, we need to call our show live with Jeremy and Kelly, like it was Regis and Kelly before, like so live
right.
with Jeremy and Kelly. Either way, here she is, Kelly. How are you, Kelly?
I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right. How are you doing?
Doing good. We just recorded one video. Now we're recording another video. A couple of difficult topics we're covering this week. It hasn't really been, puppy dogs and sunshine. It's been a couple of difficult topics to talk about. And now we're going to talk about Etika. Is that his name? Did I say that right, Kelly?
Yeah.
Okay.
Desmond is his name, but Etika is what I think most of his followers know him as.
Okay, and obviously if you're watching this video, you're aware that 29-year-old YouTuber committed suicide apparently. I'm not gonna, and Kelly or myself, we're not gonna sit here and pretend that we were aware of this person or we were fans, because I've never watched any of his videos. The only knowledge I have about him is what we're finding out now after the fact. I mean, obviously Keemstar was tweeting about it the last few days, so it kind of brought my attention to it. Kelly, you said last Wednesday, I think, is when you started paying attention to the story, correct?
Yeah, I think I had heard of him before. I've seen a few of his videos. He was really funny. He had a really great energy on screen, and a lot of people really deeply resonated with him. And ironically, a lot of people I've seen in a lot of comments feel as though he really, his spirit, his energy really helped elevate them out of their own bad situations. And I started following it originally through, I watched Agenda Free TV, which is a YouTube channel.
Oh, I love Agenda Free TV.
Yeah, Steven. I think his name's Steve. What's his name? Steven, right? Well,
Looker, yes. Steve Lookner is his name.
Yeah. And he uploads. He's streaming regularly, and as soon as I saw the stream, I obviously put it on and have just been watching since Wednesday. And it's not enough time to get to know anybody, of course, but you definitely feel it. And this it's a huge issue. It's an important topic, mental health, and it's so unfortunate to see anyone make this choice in their lives, but there are a lot of factors at hand. And sadly, one of the first things I noticed was how much negativity was being thrown towards Etika and his channel and his choices, and he was a complex person. He was lively and funny and very animated, and a lot of people loved him, but he also had a lot of criticism and a lot of people that were not in his corner. And I think his the final video that he uploaded that's no longer available on YouTube was kind of addressing how he felt as though he let people down, and how kind of just feelings of what seemed like just shame and like this was his only choice. It's a tough subject, but I think it's really important.
I'm reading here on Kotaku right now. It said he began to publicly struggle with mental health last October when he self-destructed his YouTube channel, and on Reddit made references to suicide. In April, police detained him after he threatened suicide in his apartment. They told Kotaku, citing his psych history. The incident resulted in his admission into a hospital in May. He had an altercation with a security guard and a police officer that led to another hospital visit. Last week, this video, which YouTube took down apparently, saying goodbye to fans. It was a fun life, he said. I had a great time. It was great. But for it to be cut so short, it's effed up. Friends and family had been unable to contact him since the video was posted. So, God, this is so bad, so awful to hear this. And it is, mental health is a big problem for this country, and not even just this country, you know, so many, you know, are struggling with it. You never know what people are dealing with. And this is something I have to be aware of too. I'm pretty bombastic on, you know, social media and going or responding to people that are coming after me, saying all these horrible things. These people don't know me. I don't know them. It's my responsibility with my platform is to take that into consideration. Like, you don't know what anybody's going through. You don't know. They just see me as a public figure. And a lot of times people, and again, this is the responsibility of being a public figure. A lot of times people don't really take your feelings into consideration, or that you have a life or you have struggles just like everybody else. But as public figures, you know, I feel like we have to think about who we're responding to too. So it kind of goes both ways. You never know what anybody's going through. This guy, I don't know, it said he had 800,000 dedicated fans across YouTube and Twitch. So he had a really big following. And he was a big Nintendo fan, which obviously, you know, hits home with me. I'm a huge Nintendo fan. I regret that I didn't know more about him. But I think the bigger message here is that you just don't know what anybody is going through. Yes, it's easy to look at someone that has a big following, maybe has a good living. Their public persona is often not as great as you think it is. Like, you know, their real life is not as great as their public persona is. That's just not how things operate. I know the other day I made a video because a tree collapsed in my front yard, and luckily nothing was damaged or anything. But people on Twitter, they're like, man, it's amazing. Jeremy's just a normal guy with everyday problems with trees falling in his yard. I'm like, yeah, I am. I have everyday problems too. But I think a lot of people lose sight of that. And maybe, and again, pure speculation on my part, pure speculation. Maybe that was kind of what was going on with him, with his struggles. A lot of people were assuming that this guy was just living the high life, and he shouldn't be running into these issues. He shouldn't be struggling with mental health. He shouldn't be struggling with this. Again, you don't know what somebody's really going through. It's easy from the outside looking in to just go, he has a great life. He has all these subs. He has all this money, yada, yada, yada. This guy gets paid. And again, that's something I've been guilty of too. You know, I've looked at some of these big time YouTubers with millions of subs, and they get all burnt out, you know, at the young age of 20, and they don't know how to deal with their millions of dollars and millions of followers. And I'm just like, my response is always like, try working retail like I did. You will be very, very thankful for what you have. But at the end of the day, they don't have that element of life to look back on and appreciate where they're at. They didn't go through that. They saw success at a really young age, and some people just don't know how to deal with it. And people just need to be a little more aware of that, I think. It's a very sad story. I hate to see that this has happened. You know, it's affected the YouTube community. I know PewDiePie tweeted out about it. Keemstar's been tweeted out about a lot of people. There's also been a lot of negativity that's going along with it. Have you heard a lot of that about the negativity? I know you've touched upon it a little bit, a lot of the negativity that's been the aftermath of him missing, and people have been saying a lot of stuff like, you know, negative stuff. I'm not going to repeat a lot of that, but have you seen some of that, Kelly?
Yeah, that stuff is probably what got to me the most, was seeing how uncaring a lot of people's comments were, and very derogatory, just negative, very speculative, and you know, I think it's interesting how people always seem, they're not everybody, of course, but there does seem to be a population of people that will always kind of go for the jugular when they see something like this happen. And throughout history, I think there have been a lot of assumptions made about suicide, suicidal thoughts, suicide as a topic in general. And I think a lot of buzzwords around it are, people like to throw out the word cowardly, or selfish, or attention seeking. And while I understand people wanting to come to those conclusions, those are not conclusions in and of themselves. There's such an array of internal feelings and behaviors, and such a complex variety of things that we feel every day on such a wide spectrum of human emotion and feeling, that I think it's really impossible to try to pinpoint what he or what anyone that experiences these things is going through. And I think this is a really important opportunity to kind of highlight that while Etika had a big following, and this is, you know, this is getting a lot of people's eyes and attention right now. Overall, this is an important topic. This is a real thing that people struggle with, and these are real issues. And it's, you know, it's in some ways, I think it's really important that we have this platform to discuss these things with, because it's not just a topic for soft-hearted people and bleeding hearts and you know, people that are too sensitive. This is something that I think a lot of people struggle with understanding. And we live in a time where things are constantly shifting and changing, and where, you know, people have the option. Like you said, he's so young and he saw success so young. People have this option to kind of live their lives very publicly that we've never seen before in human history, unless you were born into royalty, or you were born into fame. You never really saw people with their lives this highlighted in the public.
And so many, I mean, the number of people now that have ended up in the public eye it's never been to this level. There's so many people that just, and again, I mean, even me, like, all right, so I mean, I'm a little bit older, you know, than a lot of people that find YouTube or internet success. And so luckily I've got enough of life experience to kind of look back on things and kind of handle it. It's still not easy all the time, but it's probably a lot easier for me at my age, the things I've been through and the things I've seen. But I can't imagine, you know, like what it's like for people. He was 29, which is still fairly young. You know, it's not as young as some people. There's, you know, 15, 16, 17, 18-year-olds that have made it big, but it really doesn't matter. You don't know what he's been through. But you're right, though. You're looking at human history, and there's just the amount of people that are in the public eye now, and how they're in the public eye is unprecedented. No doubt about it.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, the issue of mental health, I've noticed it kind of picking up steam over the last decade or so. I remember growing up as a kid, I think I first started kind of hearing about the topic in general around maybe late middle school, early high school. It just kind of became this, you know, how are you feeling kind of thing. And it's interesting because I know a lot of people in older generations look at that as, oh, you're being too sensitive, you're being too mushy, why do you need to be in touch with your feelings and talk about your feelings? And it's like, well, we're also in a time where there's been more, there are actual, you know, scientific fields dedicated to this, and a lot of research and literature and studies done that kind of hold a lot of weight when it comes to the human condition in general. And you can look back on any historical figure, whether you're looking at, you know, Alexander the Great or Caesar or whoever you want to look at. There were mental health issues, whether they were for the positive reasons or the negative reasons. People are a complex array of their developmental psychology, and it's important to address some of the more negative issues and how they play out in our lives, in our decisions, and our personal feelings towards not just other people, but towards ourselves. And I think this is a really important time to start kind of discussing it, and maybe dropping a little more of the stigma around discussing it, because what got to me the most out of seeing this story was seeing the negative comments. And some people were saying some really negative things that I think were likely coming from a place of just either maybe not understanding or not being able to really empathize with those feelings, or just having kind of a built up shield against even trying to explore what that might be like for someone. But on the other side of the coin, I think a lot of these people that do make those comments maybe have that fear or insecurity within themselves. And I think it's very easy to project negativity and judgment when you see something that you're kind of scared of experiencing yourself. That's probably going to get a lot of, you know, criticism for me to even bring that up. But I think that's just a fundamental issue that a lot of people have. I notice when I'm quick to criticize something or I'm quick to judge, someone, it's usually something that I feel internally a little bit of a struggle with myself. It's not usually anything that I feel like I'm completely comfortable with that. I don't need to address it. I don't need to judge it. It's usually something that gets me emotionally engaged, whether it's something I dislike or whether it's something I really like have a passionate opinion on. So I think when people are making these kinds of judgment calls on others and their actions and choices, it's important to look at why. So yeah.
No, and I mean, I'm probably guilty of doing that too myself, though. So I can't play
I think
innocent.
everybody does it to some extent. I think to pretend that anybody's perfect is the definition of crazy.
That's right. That is true. That is true. Well, at the end of the day, I just think there's a certain line, like we can all say stuff, but at the end of the day, when somebody is clearly at that point, that breaking point, or you see that they've gone missing or that they've shown elements that something serious has happened, I think that everybody needs to take a step back at some point. All right, now it's serious. It's like there's got to be a line that everybody can kind of recognize. And so ultimately, we're going to share the National Suicide Prevention Hotline, and that is 1-800-273-8255. I will leave that in the link in the description below. It's available 24 hours a day. If you are struggling with that, please either reach out to the professionals or reach out to somebody talk to somebody. Don't hesitate to talk. Talking about things, finding people that can listen to you and relate to you and give you another perspective of what you're going through is very important. Kelly, for instance, is such a good friend of mine, and I bounce stuff off of her all the time, and she's really good at listening. She's got a different perspective. Really appreciate that from her. And everybody should be able to find someone that they can talk to if you're going through something like that. So rest in peace to Etika. I sadly did not know a lot about him prior to this, and I hate that, but I wanted to make that clear. Same with Kelly. Neither one of us really knowledgeable about him previous to this terrible news, but we wanted to cover it. We felt like it was an important topic to talk about. So that's going to be it for today. For Kelly, I was Jeremy. Thank you guys very much for checking out this video. I don't know if there's any type of GoFundMe or anything for his family, but I will look into that and we'll see. And if so, I will share that in the link in the description below also. Other than that, for Kelly, I'm Jeremy. Have a great day. Bye.
Hey everyone, it's Jeremy from geeksandgamers.com, and if you're a fan of Geeks and Gamers, please go to our website, visit our merchandise store. We have t-shirts, hoodies, hats, beanies, tank tops, and in the very near future, we're going to have many more products for you to choose from. So thank you for the support. We appreciate it. You guys have a great day, and we will talk to you later.